Okay, let's flip it over to the NFC. Let's talk about the Lions and the Bucs. Bucs coming off of a convincing win against the Eagles, man. Another day, another time, we're going to have to kind of break down what happened to the Eagles because that was one of the biggest just fall. They're going to have to completely break open this team and just figure out what the hell went wrong. But on the flip side, we're talking about the Bucs. The Bucs capitalized on that. They capitalized on a historically bad Eagles passing defense. Baker Mayfield looked great. Again, just kind of proving everybody wrong. He's coming out here and dealing. He's certainly got the receiving core to make explosive plays. And then the Lions, what a story. What a story. They're hosting their second playoff game for the first time ever in Detroit Lions history. Jared Goff, Dan Campbell, all of them. That's an easy story to root for as well. So storylines behind this game are going to be fun nonetheless. Bucs are +6 road underdogs. Point total sitting at 48.5. That's the second highest total on the slate. Our projection has the Lions 25-22. So it more has this game as a 3-point spread rather than a 6-point spread. But we'll dive in and see how much I believe that. I do think there will be points scored, though. One thing I wanted to note, Bucs are 27th overall in explosive play rate allowed. Lions are 25th overall in explosive play rate allowed. And I think both teams are going to really, really open up the playbook against each other and take advantage. So before I get into any more of it, Brendan, what do you think about this line? What do you think? Who do you think is going to win? How do you think they're going to win? Let me know.
You just talked about the Lions being pretty bad in the explosive play allowed. Most of their secondary have been hurt like all season, so I think that kind of plays into it. They're back healthy now. Brian Branch is playing great. C.J. Gardner-Johnson's back, and gosh, that was such a good game last week,
dude. It was what a game, best game on the slate.
I'll tell you what, Lions fans are nuts, and up there in Ford Field hosting, it's going to be an incredible atmosphere, and I think we have to more talk about the Bucs here than we do the Lions, because the Bucs, sure, they just destroyed the Eagles, right? The Eagles had an entire second half of the season collapse, and they're not the same team as they were last year, like at all, like a completely different team. And someone that hasn't watched all season, if they would have seen that score, they'd be like, oh my God, like Baker Mayfield's probably like awesome, and like the Bucs are actually have a good chance against the Lions. No, I don't think so at all. I think the Lions are going to be able to run the ball. I think the Lions are going to be able to pass the ball and the pass funnel that the Bucs have, and I think that they're going to be able to score at will at home, inside. Goff's better at home. I think they're going to be able to score at will, and I think that they cover the 6.5. I'm not saying the Bucs aren't going to put up a little bit of a fight, but I don't think it's going to be real close here. As far as how the game seems, like maybe they only win by 7, but I think that they're at least going to cover that, and it's not going to feel like a close game.
Okay. Yeah, no, I see what you're coming from. And again, we talk about this on every show, every time the Lions play at home. The home road splits for Jared Goff and the Lions are
crazy.
It's crazy. And if we talk about the Rams game, let's talk about, I think that game, the Lions would have won by a much larger margin if they weren't getting tossed by the refs on every single call. Yep. There were 2 specific calls that I remember that I was like, what is this? One of them being the offsides or the false start call on the Lions, but it was like pretty evident that it was not on the Lions. It's I don't know. I feel like there's the refs got something out for them. Something's weird. So in that instance, I think they could have beaten the Rams by a little more than what the actual score indicated. I think, even looking at some of the advanced metrics, the EPA margin was pretty significant after that game in favor of the Lions. I do think the Bucs will be able to keep up, and I don't think this will be any more than a 2-possession game. I think it can be. The avenue to that happening is all of the Lions' weapons are healthy, and they come out here and just play super aggressive. I think the key the thing for the Lions is their offensive line is second to none. Especially that right side led by Penei Sewell. They're dogs. All of them are dogs. And I think they're certainly going to have a lot more success holding up the Bucs pressure than the Eagles did the other night. I mean, my goodness, the Bucs pressured 60% of the time in the game against the Eagles, and they won. They had success on about 57% of those. I saw that was from like Fox Graphics or whatever, but that's crazy. That's one of the highest blitz rates that we've seen in a playoff game this year, and that was one of the highest blitz success rates that we've seen this year. So
Yep.
I think the Bucs are going to stay aggressive, but the problem is that the Lions are going to be able to defend that. The Lions also have really good pass blockers in Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, in which the Eagles did not have. No running back was good at pass protection, whereas both running backs for the Lions are relatively decent at pass protection. So I think the Lions get the favor in terms of that. Looking at some of the more numbers, Detroit 24th in EPA per pass allowed, 8th overall in EPA per pass. Again, Bucs are 25th in EPA per pass allowed. Detroit is 8th in EPA per pass. So we talked about EPA per play, EPA per pass. I think both teams are going to open up the passing game and absolutely take advantage. That's kind of why I'm leaning on the over in this game. I think there's going to be points. I think there's going to be a lot of points. And I think both teams are going to come out aggressive and find success. But, to your point, Lions secondary is finally fully healthy. It felt like most of the year they were either down CJ Gardner-Johnson or Brian Branch. But everybody's healthy. Everybody's good. Depending on the status of Anzalone at linebacker, but it's hard for me not to favor the Lions here. I think the Bucs cover, especially, I actually took them at +7 on some books. I'm seeing this line kind of be driven up towards the Lions. In fact, 67% of the bets are on the Lions. 89% of the handle is on the Lions. So for me, taking it at +7 for the Bucs, because I think that it's very, very probabilistically likely that it's one possession or less.
Let me put it to you this way. I think that Ben Johnson's going to have a field day, their offensive coordinator. Just for reference, we talked about how bad Jared Goff's road home splits are. They played earlier in the season in October at Raymond James Stadium. That's what it's called, right? Yeah, Raymond James Stadium at the Bucs. The Lions won 20-6. Jared Goff had 353 passing yards.
Dang.
And that's probably his highest one of the whole year. It's just the pass funnel of this defense is ridiculous. I think Ben Johnson's going to create really good spacing with the receivers mixed in with the tight ends, and they're going to be able to run the ball. And so I don't think that they'll be able to be stopped on either side, and I think they'll cover this. That's just me. I know I just contradicted exactly what you said, but I just wanted to bring up the game from earlier in the season.
Yeah. It's see, but using previous games, like, it's one of the best things we can do, but it's also one of the worst. And when we talked about, like, it's a clear representation of what has happened when these two teams met in the past. But then you look at, like, the Texans and the Browns game.
Yeah.
Look at all the injuries the Texans had. Now, it wasn't near the magnitude of what the Lions and the Bucs have been dealing with. They were more than less healthy at that time,
right,
give or take a few. But, it's a good point. And one thing the model takes into account is momentum. And so I think they see that with the Bucs. They've gained momentum. Their offense is in a better rhythm than it ever has been at any point in the year. Like, perfect time to get hot. Perfect time for Baker Mayfield and the Bucs to find that chemistry and get hot as we head into playoff season. And so the model does take into account momentum. And I think it saw a little Bucs momentum rising and a little bit of Lions momentum declining, like in the later games of the regular season. But I agree. I'm just rooting for points here. I am taking Bucs +7. I did take that just in case, because I do think it'll be one possession or less. But for the Lions, I think if the Bucs were to win, it's going to be coming down to the last minute, like a last minute field goal, or they win by 4, give or take. But if the Lions win, they can obviously win by one possession, but they're way more likely to win by 7 or more than the Bucs are, of course. We see that in the spread, and there's way more ways in which the Lions can be aggressive and attack this Bucs defense, this Bucs secondary to be specific, and really get ahead early. So
that was a really good thought on the past games, because we literally talked about that last week. So I just contradicted myself, because we were saying that it's hard to beat a team like that twice, because Flacco shredded the Texans in the regular season. So that's a good thought. So that decreases the validity to what I was saying. But
It's a dome game.
Yeah.
It's a dome game.
I think they'll do it. I think that Goff will do that again. Just an opinion.
All right, man. Hey, glad to have a beer bet. What's crazy is that it seems like for the playoffs, all logic goes out the window.
Yeah.
And we see that in this next game that we're going to break down, the 49ers versus the Packers. The Packers travel to San Francisco. Packers are plus 10 road underdogs as they head to the 49ers. The over-under is the highest on the divisional round slate, sitting at 50 points overall. Jordan Love, what a freaking masterclass the dude put on against the Dallas Cowboys. He not only went into the Cowboys' house, where the Cowboys averaged the most points per game by any team in the league, by 6 points, too, for that matter, and absolutely made fools of them, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Jordan Love, again, elevating himself very similarly to how CJ Stroud is doing. Dude is a baller, and good for Matt LaFleur. This was a masterclass of play calling by Matt LaFleur. That was some of the most fun I've had in terms of X's and O's by watching the play calling by Matt LaFleur that I've had in a while. And I will say, these Packers receivers are cooking.
They're good. Cooking. They're very
good.
They have a really good situation because they're all like rookies. They're like all rookies.
Gosh, yeah. Even Romeo Doubs, dude, he had one play where he shook Gilmore, and Gilmore was lost. Like, he wasn't even remotely near the play after that. It was bad. But getting off track here, let's go back to the game breakdown. 49ers, they had the first round bye. They're getting ready to host the Packers at home. We just talked about the Packers and the success that they had against the Cowboys. One of the more polarizing finishes of the playoffs. That was a game that everybody walked away just absolutely dumbfounded by both sides of the ball because, I mean, the Cowboys, they were built properly. They were, truthfully, they had the better roster at the time. So everybody thought that the Cowboys would win easily, but no. The Packers play calling, the Packers coaching, and the Packers rookies or young talent just outdid everybody against the Cowboys. So the 49ers might have a little bit more to handle than what they had expected, but we kind of look at the Vegas splits, and again, similar to the Texans and the Ravens, Vegas has this price pretty high in favor of the 49ers. Before I get into any of the numbers and what the model says, what's your reaction to Packers plus 10, man? And do you think they have a chance to win? Or you think the 49ers are going to kind of handle business at home? Let me know.
I mean, I think it's high. I think that it's a really high spread, especially in the playoffs. But first of all, I want to say Jordan Love went into Jerry World and ate their food and kissed their girlfriend and kicked their dog. And it was just awesome. And that was sick. And the Stephen A. Take on the Cowboys after they lost was great. And I'm happy. I'm happy for Stephen A. But
yeah.
God, like if the Packers do that again, I mean, they can beat anybody. But I have to remember 2 years ago or 3 years ago when the Packers and the 49ers played in the playoffs, and Mostert had like 300 rushing yards. And I remember I had taken the Packers in that. I remember I took the Packers in that to cover, and the Shanahan just obliterated Packers. I think they still had Mike McCarthy. Maybe not. I don't remember what year it was exactly.
Yeah.
But I think Green Bay can.
Dude.
I don't know.
It's here. Let me take over really quick. The model projection has 26-20 in favor of the 49ers, obviously, but a little less than what Vegas thinks. Actually, a lot less, 4 points less. So again, mentioning kind of what I said for the Bucs, the model takes in favor momentum, and what team has more momentum right now than the Packers? They're just looking at what they've done. This is crazy. So with that being said, of course we think the 49ers are going to win this game, but it would be unfair to talk about the ways in which the Packers win this game. It's a hard route. I'm not going to lie. Looking at some of the advanced match, look, Green Bay 7th in EPA per play on the offensive side of the ball, but their defense is still lacking for a team that needs to make a Super Bowl push. 24th overall in EPA per play allowed on the defensive side of the ball. Flip it over, San Francisco is first overall in EPA and then 7th overall in EPA per play allowed. Same exact rankings for DVOA. Green Bay 6th overall on offense, 27th on defense. San Francisco 1st overall on offense, 4th overall on defense. It's going to be tough. I think what kind of is the obstacle for me is not only is Green Bay, the 49ers will have more success and, forcing 3 and outs and some stops for Jordan Love and company, but asking the Green Bay Packers to stop this 49ers offense when they're fully healthy and Kyle Shanahan's calling the plays, it's like, so when we broke down the Cowboys and Packers game, what did we say? We said that the way that the Packers win this game, and the reason that I would feel good about the Packers, is that their coaching is significantly better than the Packers. Everybody that watches this show knows that we are really down on Mike McCarthy. You can go watch all of our preseason stuff. We shot on him. We actually had to redact some of what we said because of the success in the regular season that they had.
Oh, but it proved right in the end.
It did, baby. It did.
It proved right in the end.
I will victory lap that. We were down on Mike McCarthy, and at first we were both like, "Oh shit, man! He might have had a little bit of a revival in his brief retirement." But no, that game was perfect. I can feel good about my offseason takes about how hiring Mike McCarthy was one of the dumbest choices that Jerry Jones has made because of his game management, play calling, and all of that. And I was like, Packers fans, you can rest easy knowing that your coaching is at least better. Maybe not your talent or your roster yet, but your coaching certainly is. I can't say that for this team as they go into San Francisco and play the 49ers. Because not only is their defense one of the best coached defenses in the league, Kyle Shanahan is one of the best offensive masterminds in the league.
Was LaFleur a under Shanahan? I think he was. Right?
They all work together.
I know they all work together, but I think Shanahan was the OC and LaFleur was they were on the Texans together, I believe. Not the Texans, the Redskins.
Redskin. Yeah, that was when McVay, him, and
Frank Wright or Mike McCarthy. Not Mike McCarthy. Mike McDaniel.
Maybe, but Mike McDaniel was an intern at that point.
Yeah,
before he went over to the Falcons. But yeah, that's one thing I cannot say with confidence. Where last game I'll be honest, I picked the Cowboys to win. That was I thought it was the right thing to do. The Cowboys should have won. If they had a good coach, I think they, would have at least had a fighting chance better than.
Oh yeah.
But where I said that for that game, I cannot say that for this game. The 49ers are one of the best coach teams in the league. Their talent on both sides of the ball is unmatched. You look on the defense side of the ball, you got Fred Warner, you got one of the best linebackers in football. You got 2 of the best defensive ends opposite of each other in Chase Young and Nick Bosa. And then you go to the offensive side of the ball, you have Debo, Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle. And then you have one of the best run blocking receivers and our boy, Juwan Jennings, out there, who's an absolute dog. How do you stop this? The offensive line led by Trent Williams, one of the best graded units in the league.
You can't stop it. And I see more scenarios. I see more scenarios where the 49ers are scoring 40 points. So I'm going to go with the 49ers to cover -10.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think,
there's more routes for them to blow them out.
I think the Packers will find success, of course. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to let recency bias or any sort of overreaction take away from what I see via the eye test. And I think the Packers will have some plays where everybody's like, "Holy shit, this is awesome!" They'll have Jordan Love is one of the most explosive quarterbacks in the league in terms of EPA per play. Now his success rate is a little meh, but it doesn't have to be super high because we know explosive plays can flip a game on its head better than anybody. But this 49ers team will have more answers than what the Cowboys had. I think this game is a 34-21 ending in favor of the 49ers, just because I think the 49ers are going to have their way at home on the offensive side of the ball. I think this is going to be, now I will say this will be a really fun game to watch, as it's going to be a battle of the wits between two of the better offensive minds in football right now. So really looking forward to that. But again, I'm not going to let recency bias and I'm not going to let overreaction guide my pick here. I'm taking the 49ers and I'm taking them to cover. I think this is one of my more confident picks. However, the public is not on the 49ers. 34% of the bets are on the 49ers. 32% of the handle is on the 49ers. So public is heavy into the Packers, which I'm not surprised.
Stop. The script has been written. Okay. The beat parlay for the week are Ravens, -9.5. 49ers, -10. Lions, -6.5. Chiefs, +2.5.
Wow. Okay.
Good luck.
Yeah, this is going to be hard. Like, it's going to be tough. So, BJ, as we wrap this show up, so I know your AFC and NFC championship games. For your AFC championship, you have
the Ravens and the Chiefs.
And your NFC championship?
The Lions and the 49ers.
Crazy, man.
Oh, I like it.
Crazy. All right.
I like it.
For my AFC matchup, I'm the same. Chiefs and the Ravens. And on the NFC side, I got the 49ers and the Lions. But
okay, cool.
I still like some of those underdogs.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, no. I have the Bucs covering. I took them at +7, but I still think that the Lions cover or win outright. So, hey, we got a lot to be excited about. Got a lot to be excited about. I cannot wait. Guys, we appreciate you watching. We will be back here next week to talk championship weekend. Don't miss out. Talk to you guys next week.